Life holds suffering. This is the first noble truth, dukkha. It might sound bleak, but it's actually an honest look at our experience. From the moment we're born, life carries discomfort. We get sick. We age. We lose people we love. Even in moments of joy, there's often an underlying tension, the fear it won't last, or the craving for more. Buddhism doesn't deny the beauty of life, but it acknowledges that suffering is part of the human condition. Dukkha isn't just about big tragedies. It also shows up in subtle ways. The irritation when things don't go as planned, the emptiness after achieving something we thought would make us happy, the restlessness of always wanting something else. It's that feeling of being out of sync with life, like a wheel that doesn't turn smoothly. The Buddha didn't teach this to make us sad. He taught it to wake us up. By recognizing suffering, we take the first step toward understanding it. And once we understand it, we can begin to transform our relationship with it. This truth is not pessimism, it's clarity. Just as a doctor must first diagnose the illness before offering a cure, we must first see the presence of suffering before we can heal. Suffering has a cause. This is the second noble truth, and it goes deeper than just recognizing pain. It asks us to examine why we suffer. The Buddha pointed to tanha, or craving, as the root. We crave pleasure, we crave existence, we crave non-existence. We want more of what feels good and less of what feels bad. It's a constant pull, subtle or strong, toward something we don't have, or away from something we do. This craving isn't just about physical things like food, comfort, or possessions. It shows up in our thoughts, in our emotions. We crave praise and fear criticism. We want permanence in a world that's always changing. We cling to identities, relationships, and ideas, trying to hold them still, trying to feel secure. But nothing stays the same. The weather changes. People change. Our own moods change. When we resist this reality, we suffer. We imagine happiness lies just around the corner. If we can just get that job, be with that person, or reach that goal. And yet, even when we get what we want, it doesn't last. So we chase again. The second noble truth doesn't blame us. It simply points to a pattern we all participate in. Once we recognize it, we can begin to loosen its grip. Suffering, the Buddha said, has a cause. And that means it also has an end. Suffering can end. This is the third noble truth, and it offers a quiet, powerful hope. If craving causes suffering, then letting go of craving ends it. It's that simple, though not always easy. Still, the possibility is real. We're not doomed to suffer forever. Peace isn't some distant dream. It's within reach when we stop chasing and start seeing. This state of freedom is called nibbana in Pali, often translated as enlightenment or liberation. But it doesn't have to sound mystical. Think of it as the extinguishing of the fire of craving. It's the stillness that arises when we no longer fight reality. It's not about escaping life, but fully being in it, with open eyes and an open heart. Imagine how it feels to stop struggling, to stop needing things to be different, to be at peace with change, loss, joy, and uncertainty. This is the taste of the end of suffering, not numbness, but deep presence. It's the moment you realize you don't have to be ruled by every desire or fear. You can step out of the storm and simply witness. The Buddha taught that this freedom is possible for anyone. It's not reserved for saints or monks. It's a human potential, yours, mine, everyone's. The third noble truth is the promise that transformation is real. It begins when we stop reaching outward and start turning inward, toward understanding, compassion, and release. The path to freedom. This is the fourth noble truth, and it lays out how we move from suffering to peace. The Buddha called it the Noble Eightfold Path, not a set of commandments, but a guide to living with wisdom, ethics, and mental clarity. Each part supports the others, like spokes on a wheel. Together, they form a complete path toward awakening. The Eightfold Path isn't something to believe in, it's something to live. It invites us to look at our lives with honesty and intention. It begins with how we see the world, then moves into how we speak, act, and think. It's a way of aligning every part of our being with truth and compassion, not to earn reward, but because it naturally leads to peace. It's called the middle way, because it avoids the extremes of self-indulgence and harsh denial. Instead of clinging or rejecting, we walk a steady, balanced road. The Eightfold Path encourages us to be awake in the present moment, to notice how our habits create suffering, and to choose differently. This path is not a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey of practice and discovery. But every step on it matters. Every moment of mindfulness, every act of kindness, every effort to understand rather than judge, it all counts. And each choice brings us closer to the quiet joy that comes when we live in harmony with life, just as it is. Right view and intention. These are the first two steps of the Eightfold Path, and they belong to the wisdom category, panna in Pali. Right view doesn't mean agreeing with a doctrine. It means seeing reality clearly. It's understanding that suffering exists, that it has causes, and that freedom is possible. When we see life through this lens, we begin to respond to it with clarity instead of confusion. Right view is like adjusting the focus on a camera. Suddenly, the world sharpens. We see the patterns of craving, the impermanence of things, and the interconnection of all life. This insight doesn't make us cold or detached. It softens us. We become less reactive, more compassionate, because we understand that everyone is struggling in their own way. Flowing from this clarity is right intention. It's about the direction of our heart. Do we act from anger or from kindness? From greed or from generosity? Right intention calls us to examine our motives, not to judge ourselves harshly, but to gently turn toward love, peace, and letting go. There are three core intentions in this step: the intention of renunciation, letting go, of goodwill, kindness, and of harmlessness, compassion. These aren't lofty ideals, they're practical tools. When we set our intentions wisely, we begin to shape our lives differently. Even small decisions, how we respond to an email, how we speak to a stranger, become steps toward freedom. It all begins with how we see and what we choose to cultivate in our hearts. Right speech, action, and livelihood. These three steps of the Eightfold Path belong to the category of ethical conduct, sila. They help us live in a way that supports peace, both within ourselves and in the world around us. They ask, how do our words, actions, and work affect others? Are we creating harm, or are we planting seeds of kindness? Right speech means speaking with honesty, care, and intention. It encourages us to avoid lying, gossiping, or using words to hurt. Instead, we speak in ways that are true, helpful, and timely. Speech is powerful. It can heal or wound. Right speech is about using that power wisely. Right action extends this care to what we do. The Buddha highlighted 5 basic guidelines: avoid killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and intoxication. These aren't rigid rules, they're reflections of compassion. When we act with integrity, our minds become more at ease. There's less regret, less conflict, more harmony. Right livelihood is about how we earn a living. The Buddha encouraged avoiding jobs that cause harm, like trading in weapons, intoxicants, or exploiting others. Our work can be more than just survival. It can be an expression of our values. When our livelihood aligns with our heart, it nourishes both us and the community. Ethical living isn't about being perfect. It's about being mindful of the ripple effects of our choices. It's how we bring the path into everyday life, not just on the cushion, but in every conversation, every action, every dollar we earn or spend. Right effort, mindfulness, and concentration. These final 3 steps of the Eightfold Path belong to the category of mental discipline, samadhi. They guide us in training the mind, not through force, but with steady care. Together, they help us quiet our mental noise, see clearly, and experience deep stillness. Right effort is the energy we bring to the inner life. It's not about overexerting or striving endlessly. It's a balanced, joyful effort. The Buddha described it as cultivating wholesome states and letting go of unwholesome ones. If anger arises, we don't feed it. If kindness arises, we nourish it. Right effort is the gentle steering of the mind toward clarity, over and over again. Right mindfulness is the heart of Buddhist practice. It means paying attention, really being present, with whatever is happening, moment by moment. Whether we're washing dishes or sitting in silence, we notice the breath, the sensations, the emotions, without clinging or resisting. Mindfulness isn't about fixing anything. It's about knowing what's true right now, with kindness. Right concentration refers to focused attention, often developed through meditation. It's the ability to rest the mind, to gather it like a beam of light. With practice, concentration deepens into calm states that support insight. But it's not about escaping reality. It's about creating the inner stillness needed to see life as it really is. When these 3 work together, the mind becomes a place of refuge, not restlessness. We become more aware, more centered, more free. Walking the middle way. This final section of the path brings us back to the spirit of it all, balance. The Buddha discovered the middle way after years of swinging between extremes, luxury and self-denial, and realizing that neither led to true peace. The middle way doesn't mean mediocrity, it means wisdom. It means choosing a path that honors both the body and the spirit, without clinging to indulgence or punishing ourselves with harsh discipline. This way of living is deeply compassionate. It recognizes our humanity, our struggles, our beauty, our mistakes, and responds with kindness instead of judgment. It's the way of someone who walks with eyes open and heart steady, who understands that freedom isn't found in escaping life, but in meeting it fully. Walking the middle way means we keep showing up. We keep practicing, not to achieve perfection, but to keep remembering what matters. Sometimes we'll falter. That's okay. The path isn't a straight line, it's more like a spiral. Each step, even the difficult ones, helps deepen our understanding. This is a journey of returning to presence, to intention, to love. We keep letting go of what no longer serves. We keep choosing stillness over reactivity, understanding over blame, compassion over control. Over time, we become more spacious inside, less tangled in craving, more at home in ourselves and in the world. This is the heart of the Buddha's teaching, not an escape, but a homecoming. A gentle path to walk, step by mindful step. So now, let it all settle. Let the truths linger, not as facts to memorize, but as seeds planted in the quiet soil of your heart. The Four Noble Truths are not dogma. They are invitations. Invitations to look deeply, to live more gently, to suffer less, and to love more freely. They are the Buddha's way of saying, you don't have to keep struggling. This path isn't about escaping the world. It's about meeting life as it is, tenderly, bravely, and without clinging. Even in suffering, we can find wisdom. Even in chaos, we can learn to breathe. We begin by seeing the suffering, understanding its cause, trusting its end, and walking the path that leads there. Again and again, we return to these steps, not as a duty, but as a way of remembering who we really are beneath the noise. Let these teachings sink in like a soft rain, not rushing to change anything, just touching the ground of your being. Maybe tomorrow you'll notice something, a moment of craving where you choose to pause, a word of kindness spoken instead of a harsh one, a breath taken with full presence. That's the path. That's awakening. And as you drift now into rest, know that you carry this path within you. It asks nothing but your willingness to walk it, one breath at a time. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be free.